because I'm still deeply persuaded that failure scares us too much still. Failure is still too terrifying to us. And it's terrifying to us because we want to believe we are something that we're not. And when we hold on to that delusional hope, we always devalue grace. The evidence is in front of your face. It's there every day. And you won't look at it, you won't face it, because you believe that you are something you will never be apart from Christ. It's a delusion. It's hurting you. It's hurting the people in your life. It's robbing you of your effectiveness. It's a mess. Everyone in this room, including this man, is a massive failure. Who here would be so arrogant as to stand in this moment and say, this past week, in every way possible, I demonstrated the full harvest of the full fruit of faith? Please stand. We fall short of God's standard all the time. Why? Because the power of sin has been broken, but the presence of the sin still remains. There's not a grace graduate in this room. Why do you chafe against that? Why does your heart struggle against that? Why is that hard for you to admit? Why do the very people who on Sunday morning sing songs that celebrate grace work so hard to deny their need of it during the week? There are thousands and thousands and thousands of evangelicals who live every day in downright heretical delusion. There it is. Because they're terrified of actually confessing, I am in massive need of grace. There's no hope for me but grace, bottom line. None. I have nothing to bring. Nothing in my hands I bring. And when you're confronted with your failure, you only have one or two options. You work very hard in the face of that failure to convince yourself you're actually something. Or you confess that you're nothing and you're in desperate need of help. There literally isn't any middle ground. When you accept and acknowledge who you actually are, who you really are, what not only the biblical diagnosis tells you, but the empirical evidence of everyday life tells you, when you now are ready to say, this is who I actually am, then you begin to rest in the grace that has been offered people like you. Because the only way ever to get to the good news, the only way ever that good news would be remotely interesting to you, would not be theologically boring to you, would be exciting and motivating and worth celebrating. The only way you will esteem the good news if you're willing to accept the bad, devastating news that is the reality of all of our lives. We're a mess. I don't have to run away in fear. I don't have to wallow in shame. I don't have to hide in guilt. I don't have to be something. Because my rest is not in the fact that I am something. My rest is in the fact that Jesus is everything.